Hi guys, this is Jana. I'm with sweetlysinfullashes.com and I am a yellow presenter for Younique, and I wanted to jump on here. I've had a couple people ask how to do the bronzing, and you know, I don't get too heavy into the bronzing and too heavy into the contouring, but I did want to briefly come on and show some of the girls that were asking to see that in general. So with the Younique products, I pretty much have most of my face on, so I went ahead and I wiped off pretty much everything other than my lips and eyes, so I can reapply the foundation and the concealer if I need it in certain areas, which I will, kind of on my chin and stuff. And then I'll show you where I do take the bronzer that I use. So let's get started. And I'm going to go ahead and use the Mineral Touch concealer, and this is velour, and I use that to touch up my problem areas as well as my under eye, because I definitely have issues with dark circles. It's a major problem for me. You won't notice it as much with the makeup I have on already, but I do. It is. So I have some breakout right now on my chin, because, you know, it's fun being a girl, and kind of goes along with being a girl. So I kind of do a little bit on my nose. Just kind of get back under the eyes a little bit. That's what I love about Younique. The coverage is by far the best. I mean, you get so much coverage with such a little amount of product, and all of our stuff is buildable. So when I say buildable, it just means that, you know, you can go from concealer to foundation to powder to foundation powder if you want that extra, and then it just adds to your coverage, you know. So it's a wonderful thing. So what I will do now is I will take my blending bud dampened with our rose water, which can be used for a setting spray, toning. It is sunburns. It's wonderful. And then I just obviously bounce and blend that in. Just feather out those edges. You don't want to wipe, because you're going to wipe off your product and it's just wasting your product. So there's no point in that. So just kind of blend it and bounce it until you feel, and press it in, and until you feel that it's nice and pressed in and feathered out at the edges, so you don't have thick harsh lines, and where you feel you have the coverage that you want. Everyone does it differently, but I personally do my concealer first. For me, because I usually will do about 2 to 3 applications of concealer throughout my makeup process. You know, I start with concealer because I know I'm going to add more later. After each layer, I kind of add more concealer, just to get rid of those dark circles and stuff. So that kind of looks blended in enough for what I'm looking for. So then I would move on to foundation, and I'm using the Touch liquid foundation. Dries to a powder, matte finish, wonderful product. Can't say enough about this product. The color I'm using is velour. If anyone is interested, like I said, sweetlysinfullashes.com. Get a hold of me, message me. We can color match you for foundation, for concealer, anything. It takes 5 to 7 minutes to do a color match. And what you're going to do is you're going to shake this foundation up really well, because it is mineral based. You're going to empty that dropper of anything that's been sitting in there, pull up new. Our stuff is very liquidy, so don't be alarmed at that. It's supposed to be like that. It's just not our norm. We're used to, you know, creamy and thick. So it's just different if you've never used it before. And literally 4 drops. That's all you need. 4 drops is going to cover your face, and you are going to have coverage like no other. So what I normally do is I dot here, 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 all over the nose, and then you just buff it in, going in circles, blend it down so you don't get that line of foundation there. Take it down your neck if you need to. I just personally like to do that because I don't want lines. I don't want somebody to look at me and go, oh, that's a nice shade of foundation that does not match her neck or her chest or anything. So I tend to blend it on down just so you have no lines, and it just is a lot more pretty. Okay, now as you can see, look at the coverage of that. I mean, it's amazing. The coverage is ridiculous. And that's all you have to do. I mean, what was a minute? I mean, it doesn't take that long. I'm getting makeup all in my hair. To get that on, I personally use the powder puff brush from Younique, just because that's what I started with, so I'm comfortable with it. I love it because it's big in diameter and will, cover your face. You get your makeup on in like 30 seconds. It's easy peasy. And so that's what I use. But if you use a foundation brush like this, that's fine too. If you use a foundation brush like this, that's okay. If you use your hands, you can use whatever you want. It works. Whatever works for you is what you should use. So with that, we have the concealer and then we have the foundation. And so this is where I would go into my bronzing. I'm using the Beachfront bronzer, and I'm using Sunset, which is our lightest shade. The reason why I went with Sunset is because I had never used bronzer before I got into Younique. I always knew about it, but I was always kind of leery of it because I didn't want to look like an Oompa Loompa. I didn't want that orange, fake tan look, and so I kind of steered clear of it because I just didn't know. So once I've got in here and I've learned the products and I've learned the techniques and the applications and, kind of learned, using the right tools helps. Where it goes, it works. So normally I would probably go one step up now to a medium shade, which is Malibu, I think. I'm not sure, that might be the darkest one. We have 3, and I think Malibu would be the next one because I think Hermosa is actually the darkest. So, if you baby steps, that's how I do it. Baby steps until I get comfortable, and then I can move up. I don't want to start out being scared. So that's why I went with the lightest. And this is the brush that I use for, where'd it go? I just use another larger type brush to get in there, just to go a little bit quicker is all. It's, personal choice. You can use what you want. So I just tap it on, and then you hit your forehead, because you're going to do the top of your forehead, because what you're wanting is where the sun would hit you. You're just going to bronze that up a little bit. Then you take it down, and this is a little bit of bronzing and a little bit of contouring, and you take it in those hollows of your cheek. And I'm telling you, if you do it right, you can lose 5 pounds with this technique if you do the hollows and contour. So forehead, hollows of the cheek, and then you take it down on your jawline. Some people take it in more than on the jawline. It's all personal preference. Some people run a line this way. Some people do under their lower lip to give a poutier look. I tend to stick to what we call the 3 and the E. That's where you want your bronzer to be. 3 E, hollows, forehead, and your jawbone. And after that, then you can kind of take it where you want. Now, what I normally do then is I take a smaller brush and I will add a little more contour. And some days, I will really get in there and put a lot in, and and other days I'll go lighter. It's just, you know, it's personal preference and the look that you're going for. I then, you know, will take, and I do the sides of my nose, and I contour the dark on the side just to thin my nose out, and I just run that down the side. You know, it's not necessary. It's all in what you're looking for, what kind of look, and that kind of tones that down and thins it out, where you have the highlighting from the concealer. And so then what I would do is blend it. Really blend and make sure that you blend those lines, because you don't want harsh drawn on lines, you know, where you put this bronzer. You want it to blend in and, you know, look natural. You want it to look like the sun, you know, kissed your face, not a paintbrush. So that's what I do. I blend it in, and then what I do is I add my blush, and then I'll blend some more. So I'm using our blush Sophisticated. It's a really bright color, but it's very pigmented and you don't need a lot. So when I say you need very little, I basically tap it and that's it. And you just do the apples of your cheeks, blend it down to where you did your contour, touch again, do this side. You can go in light and add more. You know, I would rather add than have to wipe off. So I just kind of bring it up, cheeks up, cheeks up. And that's how I do my blush. Very simple, very easy. Then once I have my bronzer and my blush on, total interpretation of how you want to do it. You do not have to do this. I do it just because I like to do it. I use a little bit of setting powder just to blend those colors together so it is, you know, nice and blended. So just translucent setting powder. Mine is a medium for a little bit extra coverage, but I just go through and add to wherever I put the bronzer just to blend it out. So you can still see on the nose, you can still see it in the hollows. It's just not bam. And that's all you have to do for bronzer. And if you get done and you're like, oh, it's still a little bit light, you can add more. Just repeat the process, repeat the steps. You can use your bronzer for eyeshadow. I've done it. You can use bronzer for lips. You know, think outside the box with your makeup. You guys really, options are endless. Tonight I have on lip liner for eyeliner. I've done eyeliner for lip liner. Like I said, I've used the bronzer for eyeshadow. So have fun with it. Makeup's fun. There's no rules. And so, you know, it's what you like. So do what you like, do what you're happy with, and that, my friends, is bronzing. All right, I will talk to you later, and like I said, message me anything if you have any questions. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.